You might have noticed this before. Someone comes around and acts like they are already more important than you. They don't say it directly, but you can feel it. The way they look at you, the way they talk, it makes you question yourself. And slowly, without thinking, you start changing how you act. You try to speak better, stand better, or prove something. But here is the truth most people miss. This is not confidence. This is a setup. They are trying to see if you will lower yourself on your own. The moment you try to impress them, you have already lost control of the situation. And most people don't even realize when that happens. And the truth is, the person who looks the most in control is often the one waiting for you to react first. If you don't understand what's really happening in these moments, you slowly lose control without even seeing it. It doesn't happen in big, obvious ways. It happens in small actions, like when someone cuts you off, gives you a slight smirk, or talks like your opinion doesn't matter. These actions are not by accident. They are small ways to check how you react. And if you react by talking more, trying to prove your point, or showing even a little frustration, you give them exactly what they want. You show them that they can move you. And once someone can affect your emotions, they start gaining control over what happens next. That's the danger. Because now, without saying it, they've taken the higher position and you've accepted the lower one. Most people think they lose because they said the wrong thing, but that's not true. They lose because they start playing a game they didn't even realize began. And in that game, the rules are simple. The one who reacts loses control, and the one who stays calm decides how everything unfolds. Now let's break down the 7 Machiavellian rules that quietly decide who holds control in any situation. But pay attention, because one of these rules is already controlling your interactions without you noticing. Number 1. Ego doesn't come from real strength. It comes from something much less stable that learned how to look strong on the outside. And once you understand this, your entire reaction to these people changes. The people who act like they're better than everyone else are not as solid as they seem. They depend on something. They depend on feeling above others to feel okay about themselves. But that's not even the real dependency. There's something deeper they rely on. That's why they are always watching, always comparing, always trying to find someone to stand over. And when they pick you, it's not random. They start using small signals, like a dismissive tone, a quick interruption, or a look that says you're not important. These moves are not accidents. They are ways to slowly place themselves higher without saying it directly. But here's the part almost nobody notices. This kind of ego cannot survive by itself. It always needs something from others to keep going. It needs your reaction, and this is exactly where most people get trapped without even realizing it. The moment you show that you're bothered, or that you want to explain yourself, you give them energy. You confirm that they matter enough to affect you. And once that happens, they gain influence, even if it's small. The dangerous part is, it happens instantly, not over time. And small influence is all they need to keep building their position. This is why people with big egos keep pushing, not because they are powerful, but because they are dependent. They need feedback to feel in control. Without it, their whole act starts to fall apart. Now this is where everything flips. There's an old idea often linked to Niccolo Machiavelli that people care more about how things look than what they really are. Ego works exactly like that. It creates the look of power while hiding a need for approval underneath. When you understand this, your whole view changes. You stop seeing arrogance as something to fear, and you start seeing it as a signal. Every time someone tries to make you feel small, they are showing you something about themselves. They are showing that they need to feel bigger. Every time they talk down to you, they are trying to lift themselves up. That's not control. That's exposure. But most people miss this. They take the behavior at face value. They think, this person must actually be above me, so they adjust. They become more careful, more reactive, more focused on proving their worth. And by doing that, they feed the exact behavior that pushed them down in the first place. But you're not going to do that anymore. You're going to remove what their ego needs to survive. No reaction, no visible frustration, no effort to change how they see you. You let them act the way they want without stepping into it. And when that happens, something uncomfortable starts to grow on their side: silence. And in that silence, their ego has nothing to hold on to. No response, no signal, no confirmation. It forces them into a space they don't like: uncertainty, because now they can't measure themselves against you. They can't tell if they're above you or not, because you're not playing the comparison game anymore. And without comparison, ego loses its ground. That's the shift most people never make. You stop being part of their system. You stop reacting to their moves. You stop giving them the feedback they rely on. And when you do that, their whole strategy weakens without you saying a single word. You don't fight their ego. You don't challenge it. You simply don't support it. And that's what makes it collapse quietly. And what happens next is where most people completely lose control without realizing it. Now drop this affirmation in the comments: I don't feed ego, I control my reactions. Number 2. When you suddenly feel like you have to respond, that is your signal to pause. That feeling is not random. It was triggered on purpose. Someone said something small, maybe a comment that sounded normal on the surface, but carried a hidden push underneath. And now you feel it, that urge to speak, to correct them, to make sure they understand you. But right there is where the trap begins. Because once that urge takes over, you are no longer in control of yourself. You are reacting to them. People who act like they're above others understand this better than most. They don't need to overpower you with strength or intelligence. They just need to move your emotions. A slight doubt, a small challenge, or even a simple look can be enough. And once you feel it, you step in. You start explaining more than needed. You try to defend your position. You begin to prove something that didn't need proving before. And in that moment, without realizing it, you've already given up control. Because now you're playing inside their frame, not your own. And their frame is built in a way where you are always trying to catch up while they stay still. It doesn't matter how smart your words are. It doesn't matter how clear your explanation is. The act of responding itself puts you in a weaker position. Why? Because you are explaining yourself to someone who was never interested in understanding you in the first place. You are trying to earn approval from someone who gains power by not giving it. That's how the game works, and most people fall into it every single time. They believe that if they just explain better, speak stronger, or show more confidence, they can win the moment. But they don't see that the moment was never fair to begin with. It was set up to pull them in, and the more they try, the deeper they go. They become predictable, and once you become predictable, you become easy to control. The other person now knows exactly how to move you again, what to say, how to push, and when to step back. Now think about the opposite. Someone hears the same comment, feels the same pressure, but chooses not to react. No rush to speak, no need to correct, no visible change in emotion, just calm presence. That kind of response changes everything. Because now the person who tried to trigger you gets nothing back. No signal, no reaction, no confirmation. And without that, their move loses direction. They don't know what worked, what didn't, or how to continue. That creates uncertainty, and uncertainty breaks control. This is where you take your power back. You stop trying to win every small moment. You stop feeling like you have to answer everything. You realize that not every comment deserves your attention, and not every challenge deserves your energy. You begin to hold your response, not because you can't speak, but because you choose not to. And that choice is what makes the difference. Staying quiet is not nothing. It shows control. It shows that you are steady, that you are not easily moved, that you are not playing the same game. And when people see that, they adjust. They become more careful, more aware, because they know they can't control you the same way. You don't chase approval. You don't explain your value. You don't react just because something was said. And because of that, you become harder to read, harder to predict, and harder to influence. That's how you step out of the trap completely. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose silence over unnecessary reaction. Number 3. Most people show exactly who they are without even knowing it. Not just by what they say, but by how often they feel the need to say something. If you watch closely in any group, you'll start to see a pattern. There's always one type of person who fills every quiet moment. They jump into conversations quickly, give opinions even when no one asked, and react to almost everything right away. That is the attention seeker. Their goal is simple. They want to be seen, heard, and noticed. Every word they speak is a way to stay visible in the moment. But there's a hidden problem with that. The more they talk, the more they reveal. Their thoughts, their emotions, their habits all become easy to see. And once everything is visible, it becomes easy to predict. And once someone is predictable, they are easy to influence. Now look at a different type of person, someone who doesn't rush to speak, someone who listens longer than most people are comfortable with. They don't interrupt, they don't compete for attention, and they don't react instantly. That is the quiet observer. Their focus is not on being noticed, it's on understanding what's happening around them. While the performer is trying to control how they are seen, the strategist is quietly studying everyone else. This difference may seem small, but it changes everything. Because real control doesn't come from being the loudest voice. It comes from being the most aware person in the room. When you talk less, your words carry more weight. People listen more carefully because you don't speak all the time. There's a kind of value that comes from rarity. But when someone talks constantly, their words lose impact. They become expected, easy to ignore, and easy to read. And once someone becomes easy to read, their behavior can be guided without them noticing. All it takes is the right moment and the right push. This is why quick reactions are risky. The performer reacts right away. They laugh when others laugh, defend when challenged, and agree when pressured. Every reaction is fast, visible, and easy to track. But the strategist creates space. They don't rush. They take a moment before responding, and in that small pause, they gain control over how they act. That pause makes them harder to figure out, harder to predict, harder to move. Over time, people begin to notice something different about them. They don't chase attention, yet attention comes to them. They don't try to dominate, yet their presence feels stronger. That's because they are not performing. They are positioning. They understand that every extra word gives away information. Every uncontrolled reaction gives away leverage. So they protect both. They watch closely. They notice patterns others miss. And when they finally speak, it's not random. It's chosen. It's clear. It matters. That's the real difference. One person is trying to stay visible. The other is quietly taking control of the entire situation. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I observe more than I speak. Number 4. Most people think strength means pushing back every time something feels off. They think if someone challenges them, they have to respond right away to show they won't be disrespected. But that way of thinking keeps them stuck in a loop where they are always reacting. Every comment pulls them, every small trigger moves them, and over time they lose control without noticing it. Because each time they react, they give away something important, control over their own state. And once your state is controlled by someone else, your actions start following it. That's how quiet dominance really works. Not by force, but by influence. This is why strategic silence is powerful. It's not about staying quiet because you have nothing to say. It's about choosing not to speak when speaking would only lower your position. When someone tries to provoke you, they are expecting a reaction. They are watching your face, your tone, your body, waiting for any sign that they got to you. But when nothing shows up, when there is no shift, no reaction, no change, the situation starts to turn. There is no pushback, no argument, no emotional signal, just stillness. And that stillness creates pressure, but not on you, on them. Because now they are the only one moving, the only one exposing themselves. The more they try, the more obvious their behavior becomes. What they thought was control starts to look like effort. Emotional detachment is what allows this to happen. It doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means you don't let what you feel decide what you do right away. You notice the feeling, but you don't act on it instantly. That small gap between feeling and action is where real control exists. Most people never build that gap. They move the moment they feel something. If they get irritated, it shows. If they feel challenged, they respond right away. Their inner state becomes visible to everyone, and that makes them easy to read and easy to influence. But when you create distance between what you feel and what you show, everything changes. You become harder to figure out, harder to move, harder to shake. People start to notice that the usual ways of getting a reaction don't work on you. The same comments that affect others don't affect you. The same pressure that makes others react has no effect on you, and that creates confusion for them. Because when someone cannot predict how you'll respond, they lose the ability to guide your behavior. Strategic silence and emotional detachment together create a strong kind of presence. You are there, but not easily pulled in. You are aware, but not affected in the same way. You choose when to speak. You choose when to respond. Nothing is taken from you without your decision. Over time, this changes how people deal with you. They become more careful with what they say and how they act, not because you forced respect, but because your control made their usual tactics useless. That's the real shift. You don't fight for control, you quietly take it by not giving it away. Now, drop this affirmation in the comments. I stay calm. No one controls my state. Number 5. While most people are busy talking, reacting, and trying to hold their position, something important is happening in the background that they completely miss. People are revealing themselves. Every word they say, every small reaction, every shift in tone is giving away information. But you only see this when you're not caught up in reacting. When someone thinks they are better than you, they relax in a certain way. They stop being careful. They assume you're not a threat, so they don't feel the need to hide anything. And that's where the advantage starts to form. Because when someone drops their guard, their real patterns begin to show. You start to notice how they act with different people, how their confidence changes depending on the situation, what triggers them, and what makes them uncomfortable. These are not random details, they are clues. And once you start seeing these clues clearly, you begin to understand how that person operates. And when you understand how someone operates, you understand how they can be influenced. Most people never reach this point because they are too focused on being understood themselves. They are busy thinking about what to say next, how to respond, how to defend their position. But when you step back from that and just observe, everything slows down. You begin to notice timing. You see when someone speaks with certainty and when they hesitate. You recognize what makes them feel strong and what throws them off. You pick up on what they avoid and what they overdo. And all of this becomes useful, because every habit creates a pattern, and every pattern can be predicted. The person who needs attention will always move toward it. The person who fears being ignored will try harder to stay visible. The person who depends on feeling superior will react when that image is questioned. These patterns are not just interesting, they are leverage. And leverage doesn't mean you attack someone. It means you understand them well enough to choose your actions carefully. You don't need to interrupt or challenge them. You let them keep talking. You let them keep showing who they are. And the more they do that, the clearer everything becomes. This is where patience turns into power. Because the more you observe, the more control you gain over how you respond. You stop acting randomly. You stop reacting based on emotion. You start choosing your moments. You decide when to speak, when to stay quiet, and when to step in. And that changes everything. Because now, while they think they are in control, they are actually giving you everything you need. Over time, this creates a quiet shift. The person who once seemed dominant starts to feel unsure. Not because you challenge them directly, but because they can't read you anymore, while you understand them clearly. And in any situation, the one who understands more always holds the advantage. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I see patterns others miss. Number 6. Most people feel uncomfortable when others think less of them. The moment someone doubts them or treats them like they're not that capable, they feel the need to fix it right away. They start talking more, showing more, trying to prove who they really are. But that reaction costs them something they don't even realize they had, an advantage. Because when someone underestimates you, they stop paying close attention to you. They don't see you as a threat, so they don't prepare for you. And that creates space. Space to observe, space to think, and space to move without being blocked. This is not a weak position, it's a powerful one. When people don't expect much from you, they become open around you. They speak freely, act naturally, and drop the careful behavior they would normally keep around someone they respect or feel challenged by. And in that relaxed state, they reveal more than they should. Most people never get access to this because they are too focused on being recognized right away. They want respect instantly. They want others to see their value from the start. But that kind of visibility comes with a cost. The more visible you are, the more people watch you, judge you, and adjust their behavior around you. That limits how freely you can move. But when you allow yourself to be underestimated, you remove that pressure. You're not being watched closely. You're not being challenged as much. You can take your time, understand the situation, and position yourself without resistance. The key here is patience. Because the urge to prove yourself will still be there. You'll feel it when someone ignores your input or assumes you don't know much. You'll want to correct them, to show them they're wrong. But if you act on that too early, you lose the advantage. Timing matters. If you show everything at the start, there's nothing left to build on. But if you hold back and let people keep their assumptions, you create a stronger moment later. When you finally choose to speak or act, it hits differently. The same people who overlooked you are now forced to change how they see you. And that shift is much stronger than anything you could have forced by trying to prove yourself earlier. It creates respect without asking for it. It creates attention without chasing it. This is how you move with control. You don't rush to correct every misunderstanding. You don't respond to every doubt. You let things unfold while you prepare quietly. And when the moment comes, you step forward with clarity. That's the real advantage of being underestimated. It gives you time and freedom while others stay unaware. And in any situation, the person who is prepared always has the edge. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Being underestimated is my advantage. Number 7. There is a level of control most people never reach, not because it's hard to understand, but because it takes a kind of restraint they don't have. Most people think dominance means being loud, speaking over others, correcting people, or always having the last word. But real dominance doesn't look like that. It is not loud, and it does not try hard to show itself. It's felt. When someone has silent dominance, the whole environment changes around them. People speak a little more carefully. They think twice before interrupting. The energy in the room shifts without anything obvious happening, and this doesn't come from status, looks, or even words. It comes from how stable someone is within themselves. When you're not easily moved, people notice. When your emotions don't change every time something small happens, people feel that. When your behavior stays steady under pressure, it creates a kind of weight around you, not physical weight, but psychological weight. And that weight makes others adjust without being told. You don't have to demand respect when your presence already creates it. Most people try to get this effect the wrong way. They raise their voice, they try to dominate conversations, they interrupt, they push their opinions harder. But that only creates resistance. It turns everything into a competition. Silent dominance avoids all of that. It doesn't fight for attention. It doesn't chase control. It holds itself in a way that naturally draws attention in. A big part of this comes from consistency. If you stay quiet but react emotionally, people will notice the gap. If you act calm but still seek approval in small ways, it breaks the effect. Everything has to match. Your tone, your reactions, your expressions, all of it needs to stay controlled. When that happens, people can feel the difference. They can tell that your silence is not because you don't know what to say, but because you are choosing not to say it. And that choice is what creates strength. There's also something powerful about stillness. Not just standing still, but being still inside. No restless movements, no rushed reactions, no need to fill every silence, just calm presence. When someone like this is around, others become more aware of themselves. They start thinking more before they speak. They become more careful with how they act, because they can't read you easily. And when people can't read you, they don't know how to control you. Over time, this changes everything. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to correct every person who misunderstands you. Your presence already sets the tone, and when you do speak, people listen more closely, because you don't speak all the time. Your words carry more weight because they are rare and chosen. That's the highest level of control. Not reacting, not performing, not forcing anything, just being so steady and clear within yourself that others feel it without needing an explanation. That's silent dominance. And once you reach that point, people who once tried to act above you will no longer approach you the same way. Not because you argued with them, but because they can no longer move you. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My presence speaks louder than my words. By now, you should see the truth clearly. This was never about showing others that you are better. It was never about winning every argument, correcting every person, or trying to look strong in every moment. That way of thinking keeps you stuck reacting to others, moving based on what they say or do. And the moment you move like that, you give away control without even noticing it. What you've learned here is different. You've learned how to stay steady when others try to shake you, how to stay quiet when others expect you to react, and how to observe instead of rushing to prove something. You've learned to stop feeding ego, to step out of emotional traps, and to use silence as a tool instead of seeing it as weakness. You've seen how being underestimated can actually work in your favor, and how real control comes from understanding people, not trying to overpower them. And most importantly, you've learned how to build a presence that doesn't depend on validation to feel strong. Now here's what will happen if you actually apply this. People who once tried to act above you will start to hesitate. They won't be as confident when dealing with you. Their usual ways of getting a reaction won't work anymore. And when someone loses the ability to move you, they lose their position over you. That's when everything shifts, quietly, without conflict, without you needing to say much at all. But this only works if you use it. Understanding it is not enough. You have to apply it in real situations. Hold your reactions, stay calm under pressure, and choose your responses carefully. So, if this made you think differently, even for a moment, don't just leave it here. Take it with you, use it, and watch what changes. And if you want more content like this, make sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more.